What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Friday the 13th. Friday, February 13th, 2026. And we are back with another weekly recap here on the Touring Your Brain Reloaded channel. I said there will be some weeks where I will do the weekly recap on a Friday. Some will be on a Saturday. Typically, the ones I'll have on a Friday is usually the Friday that I'm free. And if not, then I will always do it on Saturday. So I was free this Friday, said so. Let me go ahead and knock this weekly recap out today. But shout out to everyone that is in the chat so far. Shout out to everyone, all the members, all the mods, everybody over there on Patreon, all of that good stuff, everyone in the Discord as well. Shout out to each and every one of you. I hope y'all are doing well. If y'all are new to the channel, I'm glad that y'all are here. Make sure to hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live, or join the Discord and you should get notified in there. We have a lot of things that we're going to discuss this evening. So let me go ahead and acknowledge those who are here so far in the chat. We got Reparations Nation, Wallow J, Hurricane Nisi, Ryvon, Sybil, LB74, Firebat, Joseph Washington, and that is it so far. But I know we got some lurkers that haven't typed anything in the chat yet, but shout out to all the lurkers as well. As long as y'all hit the like, that's all that matters to me. Lakeisha, shout out to you. And before we actually go ahead and get into everything, happy Christopher Dorner Day. Now, let me just go ahead and paraphrase it right now. Today is not Christopher Dorner's birthday. A lot of people saw me post this up and started saying happy birthday. Today is not his birthday. Today is the anniversary of when he did what he did, when he took care of business. Actually, it was yesterday, but like I said, I was a day late and I missed it, but then luckily I was able to catch it within 24 hours. And that's what I was acknowledging today. So today is not his birthday. Just have to put that out there. I think the same thing happened last year, but you know what? That's my fault that I didn't, preface that today is not the day he was born. But here we are, and it is what it is. But I'm glad that everyone who is here so far is here. Again, if you have not hit the like button, I will greatly appreciate it. Like I said, we got some stories that we're going to go over. And hold on. Ryvon said today is her birthday. Well, happy birthday to you. Shout out to you. And make sure y'all put some happy birthdays in the chat for Ryvon. Show us some love. Make her feel appreciated. What's going on, Black Panther Strike? We got Aaron Sam just came in the chat. We got One Switchblade Reparation Nation just came in. Shout out to you. So let's go ahead now and get started with everything. Let me go ahead and share my screen right quick. As y'all know, I like to start off with the good news, and I think this is some good news to start off with. Shout out to Chris Brown. As you know, his name has been floating around lately. They saying we want him to do the halftime show next year after what we got this year. And I think he would be a good overall pick. And what are the odds that started floating around and then this bit of news came out? So in case y'all don't know, Chris Brown had a tour last year called the Breezy Bowl, where he did a multi-city tour. Mostly or all of them were at stadiums. And now the numbers are in, and Chris Brown has now become the highest grossing solo tour by a Black male artist. So shout out to him. I think they said that in ticket sales, they made about $295.5 million on a 49 city tour. That is impressive. And what's interesting is I think last year I did a story I talked about it in a live when it came to Beyonce when she did her Cowboy Carter tour. I think she's the highest grossing Black American female artist to have a solo tour with that tour. And that was a 6-city tour. It had multiple shows, but it was a 6-city tour. And her numbers was like 240 or 250 for her. So, it is what it is. Shout out to the both of them. Oh, yes. Well, I know I'm very well aware. I've actually seen Chris Brown twice. The first time I saw him was when he was on tour for his second album back in like 07 or 08. I was in college when he did that tour, but I was home because it was over the summer. And then he came and did a concert at the job that I'm currently at now, a few years later. And he gives a very, very good show, which is why many people say that he needs to do the halftime show. I'm telling you, if you've never seen a Chris Brown concert, do yourself a favor and go to at least one. You are going to have a great time. He gives a very, very, very good show. He has earned his place as far as being a very good entertainer. You said you wonder how much Chris gets out of that. I'm sure he gets a pretty penny, because you got to think, artists get paid most of their money from tours. A lot of people think they get money from album sales or anything like that. And you got to think, physical albums don't move like they used to back in the day. So they have to make all of their money from touring. And that's not only just ticket sales, but that's also from merchandising as well. But then, of course, Chris Brown doesn't get all the money, because, you got to pay for the crew. His managers get paid. His agents get paid. The venue gets paid. And then basically, Chris is the last person to get paid, or whoever the talent is, they're the last to get paid. But with this, I'm almost certain he got paid very, very well. I'm sure that this probably sent him into another tax bracket. So congratulations to him. See, like Wallow J just said, touring is how TLC got out of debt. Like I said, and that goes back to years. Touring is what the artist makes their money on. They don't make money mostly off of album sales. It comes from the touring. So congratulations and shout out to Chris Brown, and hopefully they are smart and they decide to have him as the headliner for the Super Bowl next year. We can only hope, but I'm not going to hold my breath. LB said, I can't honestly think of any black male singer that I would pay to see other than Prince. Hey, I mean, you would be getting your money's worth for Prince too. I mean, hey, that's good company. Retro said, I still like buying physical copies of albums. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I know people still buy vinyls. Even if they don't have a record player, they'll still buy the vinyl, just as a collector's item. So I want to start off with that, but now we also we have to go into some unfortunate news. Hold on, y'all. I hate when these ads pop up. Let me let that ad run through right quick. Queen Mommy said, this system is set up for us to be at the bottom. Yeah, it's like we have to literally claw our way out of it. But then, of course, there'll be someone right there to try to cut you off at the tendon. What's going on, Candles? Just waiting for this ad to play through. All right, so I can start sharing right here. All right, so in unfortunate news, actor James Van Der Beek passed away at the age of 48 years old from stage 3 colorectal cancer. And I first learned that he had cancer when I was at the gym about a few months ago. And he was being interviewed, and I said, he looks a little different. You know how you can look at some people and you can tell something is wrong because it's all in the face. And it turns out that he had cancer, and he was diagnosed back in 2024. Of course, he was well known for his role in the show Dawson's Creek. Now, I'm going to be honest, I did not watch that show, but I know a lot of people that did watch it. It was a very popular show back in the 90s. It came on the WB. He was actually in one of my favorite movies, though, called Varsity Blues. If y'all have never seen Varsity Blues and it came out in 99, please watch it. It's a very good movie. That was probably one of the things that I did like from him outside of that show, because again, I didn't watch that show. But he was only 48 years old. He had 6 kids. He was married. But one thing I did look up when I was finding this that was very interesting to me was when he was on the show Dawson's Creek, he didn't make much money on that show. And it's crazy because he was the lead actor. The show was around his character. It was an article that was posted back in 2012, and it said that he really did not get all of his money from that show until years later. So he was like number 1 on the call sheet, and he was getting paid pennies. And now there's a GoFundMe that's set up for his family, his wife and their kids. And I think they said the GoFundMe has now reached over $1 million. And you got to think he wasn't working like that, like consistently the last couple of years because of his illness. And then finding out he wasn't getting paid from his show that he was the lead on, it sounds to me like there wasn't a lot of money there. And then all the money that they did have was going into his meds or maybe hospital visits and everything like that. So really, they didn't have that much money. Yes, Joseph, that is the show right there that made Katie Holmes a star. That's how I first discovered her, was from that show. And I only knew about it because I saw her in commercials. And then I started seeing her pop up in movies and stuff. But yes, that's the show that broke her out. The actress Michelle Williams got started on that show too. And now she's a big star. And you know, she used to, if y'all don't know, she used to be either engaged or married to Heath Ledger. Right up until he, you know, unfortunately lost his life back in 2008. But yes, RIP to him, condolences, excuse me, to his family and all of that good stuff. Now let's move on to a story that I kind of talked about in my last weekly recap, and that is Timothy Busfield. It says he has been canceled by Hollyweird, regardless of the verdict in his child SA case. They said, we don't care what the outcome is. We are canceling him now before there is a chance that we can't. They said he denies it says he is determined to beat the charges in his child SA case. He denies the allegations in the criminal complaint and maintains they are completely false. According to his lawyer, Stanton Larry Steen, there goes that Steen, previously said in a statement in the National Enquirer, salvaging his career, however, is another thing entirely. He's already been canceled in the entertainment industry, regardless of the verdict, a source says, of the West Wing alum, age 68, who was indicted by a grand jury on 4 counts of criminal contact of a child earlier this month. His finances have seemingly also taken a hit. It says this case has already cost him a fortune in legal fees. It'll run into many hundreds of thousands, and neither nor his wife Melissa Gilbert are all that wealthy, at least by not Hollywood standards. The Emmy-winning actor and the Little House on the Prairie star, age 61, are both estimated to have $500,000 to their name. Oh yeah, they about to bleed them dry. They are about to get him for everything. $500,000 to their name, and that doesn't say 500,000 each. That's $500,000 together. Now I wonder, do they actually have $500,000, or is that just how much they're saying that they do have, and there's some money out there that they're not talking about? They said they're looking to downsize their home and retiring somewhere low key and modest once this is eventually behind them. Seemingly, Joseph, we're going to say seemingly because, you know, things are not always as they seem. So that's that whole article right there, real quick, straight to the point. Candace said, who is he? He's an actor, or was an actor. And now this is what he's being accused of. So there's that. But I really wanted to get to this story right here because if y'all want to see the definition of sabotage, then look no further than this story right here. So everybody knows, or those who care knows or heard in passing, that Melania Trump has a whole documentary. I don't know why. I have no clue why they decided to up and give her a documentary, and for whatever reason, I guess it is what it is. But there was also a movie that came out at the end of January, like literally at the tail end of January, maybe like the last Friday of the month, right ahead of Black History Month, called Moses the Black. And it was starring Omar Epps. I think Wiz Khalifa is in it. And it was some other Black people that were in it. Like I think it's like some other actors and even some other rappers that were in it as well. Well, the sabotage is indeed real because according to this article right here, it says Melania boosting cinema slammed for Black History Month cancellations. Basically, they took away movie screenings for Moses the Black, a film that has a majority Black cast, to insert the Melania movie in its place. And it wasn't just one or 2, maybe even 5 screenings. There were hundreds of screenings that they took out to replace it with that flop, because that Melania documentary did indeed flop. Let's go ahead and see what they're talking about in here. AMC abruptly pulled a black-led film from hundreds of theaters the same weekend it gave the Melania flick a wide release to mostly empty seats, one of its producers has revealed to the Daily Beast. Moses the Black, a redemption story about a Chicago gangster who turned his life around after experiencing saintly visions, was pulled from 300 screenings on opening weekend, with just 3 days' notice ahead of Black History Month, said Alexandros Potter, one of its producers. What kind of foolishness is this? The 11th hour cancellation meant the opening weekend performed 40% below expectations. This is a black-led film with a message of redemption, Potter told the Beast. It's out there to help people. AMC would claim that it's a purely, it's a business decision at the end of the day, but how do you justify that? You let the film run. So AMC, you are dead wrong for that. And AMC is one of the biggest movie theater companies in the world, not just inside of the nation, but across the globe. The film's cast included Love and Basketball star Omar Epps in a lead role, as well as the Day of the Jackals' Chukwudi Iwuji and rappers Wiz Khalifa, Skilla Baby, and Quavo. Potter was given little explanation for the last-minute cancellations. He said he received a brief note from AMC on January 27, 3 days before its opening night, the same weekend as the Amazon MGM Studios documentary Melania hit sparsely attended theaters. Potter said AMC cited poor advance sales as the reasoning, informing him that all of its theaters with fewer than 25 screens that had not yet sold any advance tickets were pulling the film. Now, what's interesting about it is the Melania film did not sell at all. There was a lot of people that didn't even know that that movie existed. I saw a video where it was this reporter. I don't know if he was a reporter, but he went in there inside of a screening for Melania, and he was the only person in there. I even heard allegedly that they were paying people to go watch that movie, and people turned it down because they didn't want to see it. I would have turned it down. But if you got to pay people to go see your movie, then that means it's not worth watching. Somebody made a call. I'm going to put it like that. Somebody, y'all can fill in the blank of who y'all think that somebody is, made a call for them to pull this move. This reminds me so much of what happened with Nate Parker's version of Birth of a Nation back in 2016, which ironically is going to be 10 years in October since that movie came out. And remember the sabotage they did with that movie? Now, all this is going to do is make me want to watch this movie even more to see what am I missing. Because I heard about it. I didn't really plan on seeing it, but now I'm intrigued. However, Potter said that AMC canceled showings in theaters that had already received advance sales, and that would be moviegoers were refunded. He said he had never known a theater to cancel screenings where tickets were already sold. So, someone got a call. Someone got called. That's all it can boil down to. You had advanced tickets. I don't think the Melania movie had advanced. Well, they probably did, because most movies do have advanced tickets nowadays, but not to the extent where you're going to pull the movie. Like, they were already making money on the front end, and you pulled it from 300 screens. A couple days before it's supposed to come out? It says, we've never seen this, and even if AMC does sell one ticket, they normally don't refund patrons and cancel showtimes. AMC told the Daily Beast that Moses the Black played at all 339 AMC theaters originally scheduled to exhibit the film. It said that it evaluates audience demand for all films that play on our screens, and individual showtimes may be adjusted based on advanced ticket sales. AMC added in a statement that it worked closely with the distributor to provide a national theatrical platform, supported the film through marketing on AMC's social channels, and made ticket available 7 weeks in advance of its opening. In addition, the title was extended for an additional week at select locations where audience demand was the strongest. And also keep this in mind. The movie theatrical run since 2020 has been smaller. Before 2020, movies would stay in the theaters for months at a time. Now they only stay in the theaters for 45 days. It's only a 45-day window. Like, they literally snatched this away from this movie. And it looks like, it sounds like it was going to be a good film. Again, I need to find out where this is going to be streamed at so I can watch it. Potter said that AMC eventually played the film in the previously agreed upon theaters, but did not do so at many locations until Wednesday, when theater traffic is notably slower. Potter said the film was still being shown on 10 screens as of Tuesday. He noted that 4 of the theaters are still carrying Moses the Black, which received a score of a 23 on Rotten Tomatoes, but an audience score of 78%. Now, you got to wonder about this. Now, on Rotten Tomatoes, if they got a 23, a score on a 23, because how Rotten Tomatoes works is you have an audience score and a critic score. The critic score was a 23. The audience score is what you really want to is legit, 78%. Now that's a huge gap. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to them critics, most of them critics over on Rotten Tomatoes are PC. So I don't even trust that. I'm gonna trust the 78%. They said, are Chicago one of the cities in which it performed best? Moses the Black portrays Epps' character Malik as a feared gang leader from the Chicago's West Side who returns home from prison, determined to avenge the murder of his best friend. Before he can act, his grandmother leaves him a small icon of St. Moses the Black, a 4th century African robber turned desert father whose story begins to shadow his own, leading to visions that forever change his life. A press release from the film crew shared in advance with the Beast calls out AMC and demands answers about the cancellations, which it says cut its opening weekend run from approximately 900 screens to 600. And this right here is the poster for the movie. It says, why did they choose not to honor their commitment to screen Moses the Black after audiences and filmmakers were led to expect it would be shown? The release says of AMC, the country's largest theater chain. It continues, what message does this send to creative partners who rely on good faith arguments with exhibitors? While business reasons or pre-sales may be present or justification, refunding already sold tickets and canceling screening days before release undermines trust, partnership, and good faith, and sends a troubling message to the communities these cinemas serve. Reginald Akeem Berry Sr., founder of Saving Our Son Chicago and a consultant and executive producer on Moses the Black, said AMC's decision to significantly decrease its opening weekend screens was shameful. What are they afraid of? That peace will increase, Barry said. Moses the Black gives a true view into the lives, choices, and consequences of real people. Most importantly, it's a necessity for those who endure what Moses the Black reveals. The film crew called on AMC to explain why it pulled the film from being shown to working class and underrepresented communities. The question for AMC and for America is this: do you truly honor truthful storytelling about your own people and communities, those marginalized, criminalized, and excluded, especially during Black History Month when their lives are publicly acknowledged and as meaningful? The statement said, we raise these questions in good faith, honoring everyone who participated in making the film, the cast and crew, the people and communities of Chicago, and the legacy of St. Moses the Black. So there it is. And by the way, y'all, to actually prove that this movie was pulled from these theaters, when I first learned about this, I had went onto my AMC app and I had typed in Moses the Black into my AMC app. And would you know that nothing came up close to me at all for the showing of this movie? As a matter of fact, when I typed in Moses the Black into my app, it doesn't even come up at all. When I looked it up initially before this, the closest screening was all the way in Alabama. Mind you, I'm in Maryland. That's some wild stuff right there. Like I said before, somebody got a call to do that. to replace it with a movie that flopped anyway. A movie that many people didn't know about or weren't planning to see, or they had to go get paid to see. Yeah, but when I found out when this movie is coming out, or like whatever streaming platform is going to be on, I'm gonna definitely do my best to try to watch it and then review it, because that's some BS right there. But let's move on now to the next story, y'all. This one right here, and I wish KG was in the chat so he could have seen this. Hold on, y'all. So there was this incident that happened at this, I guess it was a restaurant, where this guy, this dude right here who looks like a South of the Borderian, he called someone in this establishment the N-word, and this biker gang got wind of what he did, and when he thought he was about to walk up out of there and leave, they got him and dragged his narrow behind back up in there and made him apologize for what they did. So let me go ahead and read the caption. It says, breaking: biker gang was filmed dragging a man and forcing him to walk back in a restaurant and apologize for calling a black man the N-word for simply eating his food. And this happened in New York. I think they said this happened on this place called City Island. So let's go ahead and see what they're talking about.
They yoked him up, making that nigga say sorry. They're making him say sorry. No gangsters now. Fucking asshole. They do not. Get the fuck out of here. They made him say sorry. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so there you have it right there. I think for him, it wasn't even necessary of him having to be forced to go back there and apologize. I think he was more now embarrassed, and he got caught in 4K, and now this video has gone super viral. But this also puts a thing on when it comes, I've done videos before in the past when I talk about like biker gangs and stuff like that, and yes, there are a lot of them out there that do have dub as views, but hey, I can't knock them. They made him go back, and from what I've learned from comments that I've read at this City Island, they said they're familiar that they're those biker gangs out there all the time, and they don't play that BS. They don't play with that, with like the anti-blackness stuff. They said they don't play with that, and this shows it right there. So kudos to them. Hey, I can give kudos when it is. But like I said, I think it was more of him now. He felt embarrassed, and he should have. He's lucky all they did was force him back into the restaurant to apologize, because it could have went down a whole nother way. It's the fact that they said that all this dude, the black guy, was doing was sitting there eating his food, and this guy just came up and called him the N-word. And for what? Y'all, this is why we delineate. This is also why we ain't doing, again, the black and brown thing. I present to you exhibit A through Z. So shout out to them. Let's move on now to this story. This is coming out of, where is this coming out of? Texas, Bryan, Texas, where you have this man by the name of Brandon Dickerson, who pled guilty this month to shooting and killing his wife, Alexis, in 2025. And he was sentenced to 50 years in prison for the murder. Now, here's the crazy part. This guy right here, his wife was black. I wonder what the divestors got to say about this, if they got to say anything at all, but let's go into it. A Bryan man was sentenced to 50 years in prison for the 2025 murder of his wife, the Brazos County District Attorney's Office has announced. According to the District Attorney Office, Brandon Dickerson has been sentenced to 50 years in prison after pleading guilty on February 3rd to shooting and killing his wife, Alexis Walls. The District Attorney's Office said Dickerson killed Walls in February of last year, then called 911 to report it, saying he had shot her multiple times. And from what I read, he shot her 15 times. So that means she was probably already deceased, but he just kept shooting her. That's what you call a crime of passion. Nearly a year later, he pled guilty to the murder and was sentenced by Judge Kyle Hawthorne. In a statement about the sentencing, the district attorney's office spoke out against domestic violence, calling it a deadly and pervasive issue in the United States. The DA's office encouraged those facing domestic violence to call their local domestic shelter, such as Phoebe's home in Bryan, and they have the number. It says Alexis was a light to everyone she met. It says District Attorney Jarvis Parson, a district attorney Abigail Goodman, and Tiffany Larson, who prosecuted the case, said in a statement, she was a loving mother, a beautiful daughter, and a considerate friend. She will be missed dearly by her family and friends, but her memory will live on forever in their hearts. They said this is a statement that was given by the attorney representing the killer. He said, Mr. Dickerson is sincerely remorseful for the actions of that night. Further, as evidence in his plea, he takes full responsibility for his actions and accepts the punishment assessed in the case by Judge Kyle Hawthorne. Well, all that ain't going to mean nothing to a price seeing China where he's going, because he about to be sent up the river. Now, I wish it would have told us how old he is now. That way we can gauge how old he'll be by the time he gets out. Wallow said he did that in front of their child, too. That's crazy. Well, it doesn't say, Black Panther strike. It doesn't say anything about him getting parole. 50 years sounds like the max that they was going to give him. Even after he pled, well, you know what? 50 might be what he got after the plea deal. Because he might have got a plea deal because remember he pled guilty. So he probably got way more than that. But with the plea deal, he got 50. You said, how long did they give Chad Wheeler? You know what, Cosmo? I forgot all about Chad Wheeler. I forgot how much time they gave him, too. He probably didn't get nearly as much time as he did, because at the end of the day, while he did beat his woman within an inch of her life, she didn't pass away. Thank God. So he got time, but nowhere near as much time as this guy got. And he in Texas too. They going, man, he's not gonna have a good time where he's going. Let's just put it like that. But it is what it is. Let's move on to this right here. Pete Hegseth. Lord have mercy. Pete Hegseth. Y'all, this is y'all Department of War, your head of Department of War. I'm still trying to figure out why in the world they called it that. That is so ridiculous. But it's a reason why I'm showing this. Not just for the video itself, but I want y'all to watch this, because this is just indicative of who has been put in these positions that should not be there. But let me read the caption. Filed is under long overdue. The Department War is formally ending all professional military education fellowships and certificate programs with Harvard University. Harvard is woke. The War Department is not. Let's see what nonsense he's about to say. And hopefully he can get to this video without slurring his words, because you know he got a drinking problem.
As part of my commitment to restore the warrior ethos within the War Department, it's imperative to stay mission-focused across the full spectrum of expenditures. This includes maximizing our return on investment when officers and senior enlisted service members attend expensive civilian universities. Graduates should emerge much more capable warfighters, you'd think. But unfortunately, America's highly ranked universities no longer live up to their founding principles as bastions of free speech, open inquiry, and committed to the American values that make our country great. Take Harvard University, for example. I know it well. Our military has had a rich tradition with Harvard throughout American history. In 1775, you probably didn't know this, General George Washington took command of the Continental Army in Harvard Yard and used the university as a military base. From that time through the Korean War, military service was commonplace at Harvard. There are more recipients of our nation's Medal of Honor who went to Harvard than any other civilian institution in the United States. But today, this university with such a unique history, which receives billions of our federal tax dollars, is one of the red-hot centers of hate America activism. Too many faculty members openly loathe our military. They cast our armed forces in a negative light and squelch anyone who challenges their leftist political leanings, all while charging enormous tuition. It's not worth it. They've replaced open inquiry and honest debate with rigid orthodoxy. In our line of work, ideological automatons are useless. We need leaders who can wrestle with multiple viewpoints, professionals who can think critically and independently to solve important questions. Even more troubling is Harvard's partnership with our adversaries. Campus research programs have partnered with the Chinese Communist Party.
Okay, I'm just going to stop right there because I'm so bored with Pete Hegseth, but there is a reason why I showed this as much as I could. I mean, this video is 5.5 minutes. I want y'all to look at this right here. Now, this is from Pete Hegseth's actual Twitter account. Like I said, if you are a politician and this is your actual account, you have a grayed out check mark. So to let you know that it is official. But this guy is over what they call the Department of War. And he tagged Department of War in the post. Or did he? Let's click this right quick. So when I clicked on it, it did not take me to the Department of War Twitter account. It took me to this woman's account or this man's account who's all the way over in Uzbekistan. This was typed in by either Pete Hegseth or somebody on his team who fell asleep at the wheel. Because what in the world? How are you over this department and you don't know what the Twitter handle is? And it's for an account that hasn't posted anything on Twitter in 10 years. The last tweet they made was March 5th, 2016. Y'all, this is who's in the White House. This is who was picked to be in that White House, to be in that cabinet. Sat up here and said a whole bunch of nothing and then tagged the wrong account. Let's move on from this to some other ridiculousness. Now, this right here is absolutely insane. So everybody knows that one of the biggest games that's coming out this year at the end of the year is GTA 6. I know I will be getting it. I'm sure some of you in the chat who play games is getting it. I'm sure those of you who have kids and grandkids are going to be getting it as well. It's a very highly anticipated game. But we know one person who's not going to get it. This dude right here. So this guy by the name of Robert Richens, who is 35 years of age, has been sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his girlfriend, Rachel. But what's interesting about this is that when he was arrested in a video, like I think it was like on a body cam video, when he was arrested, the first thing that he did after he was crying his eyes out was saying, I won't be able to play GTA 6. I kid you not. I saw this video the other day. This dude literally was crying that he wouldn't be able to play GTA 6 after he just killed his girlfriend. I'm like, that's crazy. That's what you're worried about. Yeah, you're not going to be able to play GTA 6. You took out your girlfriend. That was what he was more worried about. Not the fact that he was about to go to jail for the rest of his life, but the fact that he won't be able to play GTA 6. You should have thought about that before you pulled that trigger. Yeah, look at him. This is him crying right here. When I saw that, I said, if you don't go somewhere with that, he said, I'm going to miss the release of GTA 6. It's like that's when he had his moment of realization that, oh, damn, I shouldn't have did that. I should not have did that. Yeah, you shouldn't have did that. Exactly. SD Johnson, cope and endure. That's what he get. Foolishness. Like really, like if you look at him crying right here, he's not crying because of his actions. He's literally crying because he's going to miss the GTA 6 launch. And I'm sure he was one of the ones, clearly, who was anticipating it just like the rest of us. Oh, well. And by the way, y'all, this happened overseas. This happened in the UK. When I saw this, I had to hold back my laughter because at the end of the day, it's still a tragedy. But on the other side, I was chuckling a little bit because I'm like, are you serious? Are you for real? But let's move on. Now, the last few things I'm going to talk about are going to be around this whack TPUSA halftime show. I mean, oh my God. So yeah, TPUSA had their halftime show, quote unquote, during the actual halftime show for the Super Bowl. And the first thing that happened was that TPUSA had posted on Twitter that they wouldn't be able to do it because of some kind of copyright thing, some licensing thing. And this was about 2 hours before they were supposed to actually do it. And then they said, okay, we're going to have to stream this on the Turning Point USA YouTube account. So they ended up streaming it on there, and allegedly they had 5 million people that was live in the chat while it was going on. And then by the time it was over, it had 19 million views, and allegedly it was supposed to be the most watched streamed event in YouTube history. But that was a big bowl of lies. I think that's the one thing that TPUSA and the NFL had in common, was lying about those numbers, because the NFL tried to say Bad Bunny had the most watched Super Bowl halftime show ever, eclipsing Kendrick Lamar. Well, that turned out to be false because the real numbers came out and he's the 4th most watched one. So they got that in common. But I want y'all to watch this right quick. I'm not going to play the music. I want y'all to, well, I probably should, for the simple fact that there's commentary behind it. And I want y'all to listen and watch something right quick. Look at this. Now the clip is only 29 seconds. Now this is the chat right here for Turning Point USA. So basically all the people that was in here, a lot of people are saying that these were nothing but bot accounts. A lot of them were bot accounts. And you can look at the comments, but I want y'all to look at this.
Yo, is the chat frozen? I don't get it. Live chat, it's not loading yet.
I just want to catch my fish, drive my truck, drink my beer.
First of all, what is this song? What is this? I want to catch my fish. No. I want to drink my beer, kiss my fish, drive my truck, and drink my beer. What kind of hillbilly hick is this? What is this? But what's going on is the streamer is trying to type, he's typing in the chat, but the chat is not moving. It's like it's frozen. It's like stuck right there. Then you have people on their line talking about, oh, when I was on it, the chat was moving at a rapid pace.
Guys,
not wake up to all this
hello?
stuff I don't want to hear.
So he just typed in the chat. He put hello in the chat. That's the only thing that came up was him. Now, you got to think, if there's millions of people in this chat like they allegedly say that there is, which there isn't, this chat would be moving at a very, very rapid pace. Now, if they wanted to lie about this, what they should have did was turn the comments off in the chat, which you can do. You can, when you go live, you can turn the chat off and not have anything moving in the chat at any point if they really wanted to cover it up. But no, they had to try to prove a point, and it backfired. Like, look, the chat is not moving. All you see that's coming from it is people hitting the heart button right here. But like, anyone can do that. It's not, the chat is literally not moving. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So many people were saying that this was probably like these were a bunch of bot accounts that were doing this. No motion whatsoever. Now I hate that I have to come over here and refer to the Coonstress, but she's like the only one that did a deep dive on this. And the only way I found out about this is because I was watching a playback from the live Watch TV did where she was breaking this down. And if what she says in this thing is true, then TPUSA looks like a bunch of fools. It says Candace Owens says TPUSA halftime crowd was paid and filmed over 2 days. So basically, what the people were looking at was not even a live performance. Or it was either part live, part recorded. Let's see what they're talking about. Candace Owens is alleging Turning Point USA Super Bowl halftime show was filmed over 2 days at a Georgia soundstage with a paid audience. The paid audience part I can definitely believe. Turning Point USA, an organization founded by late conservative activist Charlie Kirk, hosted an alternative Super Bowl halftime show on February 8th called the All-American Halftime Show. The programming, which featured Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, Lee Brice, and Gabby Barrett, aimed to compete with Puerto Rican rapper Bad Bunny's official halftime show, which raked 128 million viewers. Owens, a Nashville area conservative commentator whose past broadcasts have included her theories about the First Lady of France, which sparked legal action, weighed in on the Super Bowl show. On a recent episode of the Candace Owens podcast, she said a few people involved in the show reached out to her. Owens claimed the performance was filmed about 2 weeks ago outside Atlanta and that audience members were paid a $250 stipend. She said there were only 180 people in the audience, that TPUSA used camera tricks to make it appear more full, and that each artist performed 3 to 5 takes of every song except Barrett. The Tennessean has reached out to TPUSA for comment. Kid Rock discussed the performance in a video posted to social media. He said, "My halftime performance was pre-recorded but performed live." Wait, what? Oh, so what you're saying is you were lip syncing. That's what I gather. You were lip syncing. You recorded your performance, but when you went out there to perform, you were singing to the track. Okay. Wallow J, I'm just as stumped as you are. That's pretty much what I'm gathering from this, is that he was lip syncing. He said no lip syncing like the haters and fake news are trying to report, but you just said your halftime performance was pre-recorded but performed live. Like, those two things cannot be true. He says when the synced cameras on my performance on Bob, I'm not going to try to pronounce that. It did not line up. As a matter of fact, I had saw a video clip from his performance. There were times when Kid Rock pulled the microphone from his mouth and the parts where he's supposed to sing was playing, but the mic was away from his mouth and his mouth was not moving. And when he realized that, he quickly pulled the mic back up to his mouth, but it was too late because the camera caught it. On February 8th, TPUSA spokesperson Andrew Kovic announced the organization plans to stage another Super Bowl halftime show in 2027. Oh, God. He called the show a massive success on One Nation with Brian Kilmeade, saying the performance attracted 20 million viewers and predicting the total view tally would rise to 40 or 50 million. So I can tell you that's a shot across the bow. People are paying attention, and if you give us a year to plan this thing, I'm really excited to see what we can pull off, he said. If they say so. Hold on, y'all. I want to check something right quick. I truly believe them numbers are extremely padded. I do not believe they have 20 million organic views. I really don't. But you know what's even more interesting? You want to know what's even more interesting than this? This right here. Kid Rock the Country Festival responds to artists dropping out. So, in case y'all are unaware, just a day after, or maybe a day before, or the day of the Super Bowl, a place where Kid Rock was performing at for the halftime, well, their halftime show. There's a festival or some kind of tour that he's supposed to be doing, and one of the tour dates they ended up losing, which was South Carolina, because artists started to pull out of it. It's a Kid Rock's Rock the Country Festival said it was truly disappointed it will no longer bring its July show to Anderson, South Carolina, saying the decision was based on maintaining production standards for fans. Festival organizers also reasserted that their mission is to unite people through music, not politics. Okay. As several artists have dropped out of the traveling music tour co-funded and headlined by Kid Rock. They told Newsweek in a statement, Rock the Country was created to unite people together through music. Our lineups and our crowds reflect that sentiment, a wide range of voices, backgrounds, and stories that make up this country. We're truly disappointed we won't be bringing the show to Anderson. Hopefully, you won't be bringing the show to many more cities as well. Our fans work hard for their money, and we refuse to put on a show that doesn't meet the standards they deserve. Our focus remains where it's always been, supporting our artists, honoring our fans, and delivering unforgettable nights throughout the country. The show ahead represents the heart of what Rock the Country stands for: music, community, and pride in where we came from. Now, I'm going to skip ahead because I want y'all to see something. These are the tour dates for this Rock the Country thing. I want y'all to pay attention to how spaced out these dates are. It says Belleville, Texas, May 1st through the 2nd. Then the next one is until the very end of the month. So you're talking about 3 weeks. Bloomingdale, Georgia, May 29th through the 30th. Then the next one's not until almost a month later in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm guessing the South Carolina one was supposed to be the in-betweener for that one. That's why it's a huge gap. Then it says Ashland, Kentucky, July 10th through the 11th. Then the next one's not until almost a month from that. Hastings, Michigan, August 8th through the 9th. Then the one is Ocala, Florida, at the end of August. And then Hamburg, New York, a couple weeks later, September 11th through the 12th, and that's the end. I can smell the failure that is going to ooze out of this so-called show. A bunch of nonsense. Anyway, y'all know what time it is. I'm about to drop the link in the chat. If anybody would like to come up, feel free to do so. I'm putting the timer on. It's Friday, so I'll give y'all 3 minutes. Wallow, what's going on?
What's going on, Tori? What's going on, everybody in the chat? When I heard that story, the story about the man killing his wife, I was like, damn, like, because when I saw what really disturbed me, he shot her 15 times. Like, you really was that mad you had to kill your wife in front of your child. don't know if y'all, I don't know. I think you did say that correct, but
Yeah.
15, you shot. I think they say he shot her with a rifle. So you shot your wife with a rifle 15 times in front of your son. That is some diabolical mess, man. Like I hope that child gets some therapy. Even though that child was like 1 year old, 18 months, I hope that child do get some therapy because don't no child deserve to see nobody kill their parents, regardless of who they are. So I do hope that child get the help that they need because I think from what I read, the child is with her folks, not his folks. So that's hopefully that's a good thing. So and then also with TPUSA, man, them folks, ooh, I'll be surprised within 5 years they'll still be up and running. Cause they just becoming an embarrassment. I guess this is what Charlie Vote on died for. I mean, that's all I can really say. He died for this, so I'll land my plane there.
Shout out to Waller for coming up. Next up, we gonna have Jonathan. What's going on?
What's going on, man? Yeah, I checked out the live and now Bad Bunny. It feels like Bad Bunny's performance bothered them just as much as Kendrick Lamar did. You know what I'm saying? So and that's what I like about him. I didn't even realize Bad Bunny's performance would be that viral. So and that's what makes it so much better. Pissing off the turning point MAGAs. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm hearing about Kid Rock dropping out from his. What was that he dropped out again? You said?
Well, he's has like a tour going. He didn't drop, but there was artists that dropped out from one particular location. So many, in fact, that they had to cancel the whole city. But I was going over the tour dates and was saying they're so spaced out, like they're not consistent.
Well, that's good to hear because I watched some Kid Rock when I was younger, and when I found out when I saw the way how he turned the way he was, I'm kind of glad he's getting the karma that he's getting. You know what I'm saying? They all. This is the reason why, man. I'm starting to not to be too supportive of the PC artists and the celebrities because no matter how good they were, it's gonna be something that we hear about them or they say something that we don't like, and it causes us to drop our support for them. So, karma, shout out to the karma, man. It does its thing. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get back to my workout. I'm trying to get my friends right, and so I'll see you later.
Appreciate you coming up. You didn't get your wish, Wallow. Wallow, you might as well just stop. Joseph, what's going on?
So sorry, and so to the chat room. Well, first, congrats to Chris Brown. I really want him to be at the next Super Bowl doing the halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that stunt AMC poll, I think it's a test run for what they might try to do later on, possibly this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might try that with Michael. I hope not, but I wouldn't put it past.
Listen, they better not. Like, listen, they must not know Michael Jackson fans are different. they better not try it.
Yeah, but it's like, and you know what? If you had not brought up what AMC did and that movie that Omar Epps did, it probably would have went under the radar and they would have buried it.
That's the point. That's what they were expecting. Like I said, when I go, because I have the AMC app, when I typed Moses the Black in a couple days ago, showings came up, but they were all the way in Alabama. And I'm like, what? And those were as far as close screenings in Alabama. Do you know how many states I would have to go through to get to Alabama? And then when I typed it in right here on the live, the screening or the poster doesn't even show up. So it's not any way that I could go watch it or pay for it to watch it, even if I wanted to.
You think it might be the same if you were to type it later on or maybe tomorrow just to see if they brought it back?
I don't know. Like, they sabotaged it. I mean, they removed it from 300 screens. They took away to throw in that crappy flop of a Melania documentary, something that no one was going to go see anyway, that allegedly you have to pay people to go watch.
Right.
What's so crazy is that people who was paid for it, unfortunately, they got gypped out of their money.
Yeah, Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if a lawsuit comes down the road.
It should. I would.
Hmm. Well, if a paper does roll around, hey, they started it.
Mm-hmm.
And one more thing, if dude that shot his girlfriend wanted GTA 6 so much,
Mm-hmm.
there are places he could have gone to be away from his girlfriend and, just I think this is one of those times you can hide in a bunker and just wait for that announcement that, it'll be released at, you know, this particular date this year. Some things you don't do if you really are anticipating something. Oh, sorry. Thanks for having me up. Sorry about that, Zarian. Thanks for having me.
No problem, Joseph. Well, Wallow, you got your wish. Hold on, let me see something right quick. If anybody else would like to come up, make sure y'all click it now because y'all know who coming up and said they want the last to speak. And when she speaks, she is literally going to be the last person. So I'm putting the link in the chat now. If anybody else would like to come up, y'all better click it. All right. Aaron, what's going on?
Hey Joey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good. Um, um, what he did was mess up.
Say it again.
Um, 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 what the man did it mess up.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't really understand what it is that you're saying.
Um,
Can
I thought
you,
my,
can you type it? Like, can you type it in the private chat and I'll read it?
yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay. Okay.
All right. All right, Miss. Let's see who we got in it. Mansa Moose, you not coming up tonight? Yeah, I definitely agree. Yes, what he did to his girlfriend was definitely messed up. Now he's paying the price for it. Man, Samusa, you gotta hurry up and come up because, like I said, the last person to speaking is waiting, and she's waiting patiently. And also, there will be a video coming tomorrow, y'all. Just give me all a heads up. There will be a video coming tomorrow. It's a story that unfortunately didn't get as much traction as it was supposed to. It's actually a story I was going to actually talk about in this live, but I said, you know what? Let me just make it its own story, its own video. Manson. Oh, there it is. I'm about to say I can't bring you up because your device wasn't connected, but you're good now. What's going on?
Hold on. All right, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
Can you hear me? Am I good?
I can hear you.
All right, cool beans. What's going on with the chat? What's going on with everybody? I didn't catch the very beginning, but I did catch the one where you left off with somebody's child. The child watched the parent get taken out of here. So I came in like kind of close to the end a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And rest in peace to James Vanderbeek. I know he was in Dawson's Creek. That's as far as I know. So rest in peace to him. Oh yeah, the guy talking about he wanna I wanna ride my truck, catch my fish.
And they had the nerve to sit up there and say, "Oh my God, this was such a great thing." I'm like, okay, if you say so. I said, when they say all American, that is what they're literally talking about. That is some rural American stuff right there.
Yeah, that's the Heritage American anthem. I wanna ride my truck, catch my fish, touch my cousin. I love this ish, yeah. All right, bro, whatever, bro. You got it, fam. You got it. TPUSA. They got a halftime show. Hey, did you saw the video about the dude who was asking him about it when he was at the bar? What are you watching? Are you watching that? Why are you watching that? Bro, why do you care? Stop asking him. Bro, if you enjoy your little wings and cheap ass fries at the bar, the hell you asking him what he watching that for? Might care, bro. Let him watch that stuff. Might care. You know, I ain't gonna be up here for too long because I know New Sneezy coming up, but I want to say this. I don't know if you peeped this to that broad that's on TikTok talking about strapping a whatever to her chest and trying to yeah. Check this out, shorty. You might not ever see this, but if you get wind of this, we on your ass. You in foreign territory talking crazy. We don't take threats lightly. I'm gonna put it out there just like that. Whatever you call American freemen don't play games like that. FBA, so long, whatever. We don't play games like that. We don't take lightly the threats like that, especially a threat to national security. So we on your ass. Trust and believe that. And that's all I got to say about that. All right, Tori.
Appreciate you coming up. All right, shout out to Mansa Musa. Okay, y'all. I'm about to bring up the last person. Y'all already know who it is.
Heed my command and reclaim these relics of hatred.
Miss Nisi, what's going on?
Good evening, Torian and family in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
My only comment to the weekly recap: congratulations to Chris Brown. The rest of the people, the Most High got that. I ain't got nothing to say. All right, subject change. You've watched all 3 episodes, correct? Of Cross.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving no spoilers for those who wish to watch the series, but I'm gonna give you my pet peeves thus far from those 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That episode 3, 2 things pissed me off. Alex and Kayla. I'm screaming at my TV. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. And that son of a bitch did it. And then that crazy dude.
Bobby Shrey.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what scene I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what scene I'm talking about. My God. I was like, what the hell am I looking at?
I said, hey, Miss Nisi, have you ever seen the movie Blade?
Yes, I have.
Didn't she remind you of Pearl?
Oh, Jesus.
When I saw that, I said but you know what? It fits for his character because his character would do something like that. And I knew
But you know what?
I knew that's where it was headed with because she was flirting with him while he was getting the pedicure.
When he was talking about use Mary, yeah, you use the Mother Mary or something like she rubbing his side of his leg. I said, oh Jesus. I'm like, look, but you know what? That crazy fucker, he's my favorite character.
Yeah, he is funny. He is hilarious. But no, what happened was when I was watching, I had saw him when he first came on the screen when he was in the cell with the plant. My first thought, the first thing that came out of my mouth when I saw him on screen for the first time at the end of episode 2 was please don't have a scene in him with him in it this season of him wearing some crazy looking underwear. And what did they do in episode 3? They had him they in some zebra underwear. I'm just keeping
a zebra thong. Crazy.
And the boy and the mother's son came up in there and saw him in there cooking breakfast for dinner after what happened. Like they almost broke that bed. when I saw that, and I said, when the next time I talk to Miss Niecy, I said, I know she's gonna have something to say about that.
Oh God, I'm telling you. But so far, all 3 episodes was hitting. I will say this last thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if John and Alex gonna recover.
Oh yeah. That's a secret right there. You can tell he felt some type of way about. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I probably would too.
Yeah. But I don't believe his mama. She up to something. Mm-hmm. John's mother.
Yeah.
I don't believe her. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And when do the new episodes drop?
Every Wednesday, at 3 a.m. But of course, I'm gonna watch it like when I wake up, because who's staying up to 3 a.m.?
Oh no, I don't do that. And I also didn't binge watch them. I watched 1 episode per day.
Yeah, I watched all 3 of them in the same.
Well, I knew you would.
I mean, I had nothing but time. I was off all this week anyway, so I mean, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, every Wednesday at 3 a.m., which of course, they do that because it'll be 12 a.m. Pacific, so the 3-hour time difference. So
okay.
I watch, but every Wednesday, and it's gonna be 1 episode per week after this.
Well, then I'm gonna have to wait that they drop. I guess they're gonna do 8 episodes again.
Probably.
Okay, well, I'm gonna wait for them to drop 1 or 2 or 3, and then I'll finish it up.
Okay.
But anyway, that's all I gotta say. Oh, and the first trick, Black, what was it? Black Moses.
Mm-hmm. Moses Black.
Moses Black. They need to sue the pants off out of AMC and Melania. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just straight up bullshit.
Like I said, that they got a call. They definitely got a call to do that. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I said in January, I always say January when it comes to movies is seen as the dump month, because that's a time where a lot of people don't go to the movies like that. In the past, they have done well. Like Bad Boys for Life did very well in January when it came out, but that's because it's Bad Boys. I mean, it's a part of a big franchise, so I'd expect it to do well. But you had this movie right here that had notable people in it. Omar Epps is leading, and it's been a while since I've seen Omar Epps.
And he's a good actor.
Not only in a movie, but as a lead in a movie. And this movie sounds good, and I heard about it. And like I said, when I went on my AMC app, the closest one was all the way in Alabama. And then when I looked on it now in the stream, it was not even there. So even if I wanted to buy a ticket to watch it, I couldn't. So now I'm gonna have to wait for it to come on streaming, whatever platform that is, for me to watch it.
Now I think the only time I'm gonna hit a theater is when Michael comes out. Mm-hmm. That's the only time. But anyway, let me wrap it up. You probably didn't put me on the timer.
I did.
Thank you. So anyway, everybody
because I knew why you was coming up here. You told me earlier. That's why.
All right, but anyway, you be blessed.
Hold on. We got it. Before you go, is one person you forgot to mention. You didn't mention Nana Mama.
Oh, I got to see Nana Mama. That was the main thing, because when they showed the trailer, I said, "Now wait a minute. They showed everybody, but Nana Mama, she better be there."
Mm-hmm. And she was there.
She was there. So I don't know. I'm telling you, this season is crazy, but it grabs your attention. So those who have Prime Video, you need to watch Cross. It's an excellent series. All right, baby boy. Be blessed. Love you. Be one.
Shout out to Miss Niecy for coming up and rounding out the panel discussion with this live this evening. And that's going to bring this live to a close. This is a weekly recap. Like I said, I sometimes do them on Fridays if I'm free on Fridays. I know the next 2 will definitely be on Saturdays, because the next 2 Fridays will not be free for me. So look for the weekly recap to happen on Saturday. Most likely it's going to be slightly earlier, but it will be on Saturday. There will be a video coming tomorrow. I already have the premiere window up. It's going to be dropping at 2:00. So make sure y'all check that out tomorrow. True Crime Sunday, the first True Crime Sunday the second True Crime Sunday of the month will be happening this Sunday as well. Of course, you know we do that over on Rumble because of the copyright over here. And with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. I think Black Alpha is currently live right now, so y'all can go over there and pop in to see what he's talking about, or not. Just enjoy the rest of your evening. And with that being said, y'all be safe, stay warm, and most importantly, be one.